Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Thank you for joining us today. I hope all is well in your world. The topic for discussion today is related to a very large group of women in our community who live alone. Now, I got inspired by this because we did an article a few weeks ago, and many women came back and said that they live alone, they're happy with that, they're living their lives the way they want. There were some that said that they found they were lonely, maybe they were missing a partner, and their living alone was kind of not so self-determined, there was the circumstances. But we determined that we've got a lot of women who live by themselves, and if you're in a home that you've lived in all your life, or in a small space like I am, you might need to think about some ways that you can improve the space and maybe impacting the accessibility and create a safe and comfortable home. And there's some a list of things that I just thought about in my own world, and maybe you can add to them as well, but some things that you might want to consider doing. And I think I've got 10 here that will help us to at least get some structure around what might be useful for you. The first is installing adequate lighting. Now, just make sure, and this is just for people that have a larger house with stairways and more space than I've got, but just to make sure that you've got ambient lighting throughout the house. There's so many cool things you can get now with motion detectors where you don't have to waste a lot of energy as you enter a room. The lights come on, staircases, hallways, of course, and then also have areas where you're working or doing your crafts or whatever, be well lit. Now, I actually am very fortunate that I have a nice window that I get natural light most of the day. It's sometimes for videos challenging though, because my ceiling is low, but I'm really conscious of lighting, and I just bought a really cool, I could actually even show you this really cool little light. And it's got like this kind of, I don't know if you can see that, it's very like it's USB. I mean, you can actually plug it into your computer. But I use that at night as a night light, because I'm kind of one of these funny people. I don't like the pitch dark. I always like a little beam of light. And I also tend to read or do other things in the evenings as well. So that's my night light. But make sure that you've got accent lighting to improve the visibility and prevent accidents. I'm not noticing something about my necklace here. I just picked this one up at a charity shop, and I'm noticing it was hard to do up, so I moved it around. I think that's where it's meant to go. There. Perfection. Anywho, the second thing is to secure entry points. Upgrade your locks on your doors and your windows, both from a safety perspective and also a heating. If you've got a draft or you've got something that needs to be, repaired a little bit, do it now. Also, I know it's a security thing, but consider deadbolting or, locking with a security system, with an alarm system. I think a lot of women who are living alone, especially in rural areas, feel a little bit vulnerable. I mean, you may know your neighborhood really well, have no worries at all, but consider it. It's something to consider, the whole idea of securing your entry points and, for your peace of mind. I mean, these essential home shifts and improvements are not for everybody, but they're at least some thoughts. So lighting, security, installing handrails and grab bars. I know. It's like, you have lived in this house for 40 years or something, and you go in the bathroom and you're having a little bit of trouble getting up and down, and maybe you need a seat in your shower. But it's just that idea of having grab bars or handrails, just to provide you with stability. You may not want to do this right away, so just make a little note of it. Do I need some? I mean, grab bars and handrails are not that complicated to install, and hopefully if you're dealing with mobility issues at all, those are really super important. And it's the classic thing of slips and falls in the bathroom, particularly, that are really the dangerous ones, because you're wet, the floor is wet, and you may be wet. And, it's just a matter of making sure that you've got places to hold on to. And you need to consider doing that. And of course, bathroom safety in general is one that you need to consider. Maybe a raised toilet seat or some slip-proof mats or like rugs, a handheld shower head. Maybe you need a little bit more control over your shower environment. The biggest thing I have found with my shower, I don't have a bath, but a shower, is that when I come out of the shower, the floor is often wet. And unless I remember to put a towel or a mat down there before I get into the shower, I'm always holding on really carefully, because I'm not as stable as I used to be. I mean, I'll hands up. I mean, I'm I'm not jumping around in any parts of my house, to be honest. But I'm wanting to. The bathroom particularly is one that you could consider. A shower seat is something that a lot of people install, where you could just sit and have a shower. I actually quite like using just a handheld one, but whatever your style is and whatever. But bathroom safety is super, super important. Remove trip hazards. This is like an obviously simple one to say, but think about where you're putting things. Have you got a plant that's sticking out, or a shelf that is just not quite fitting in the right place, or maybe it's unbalanced or not sealed to the wall. All these kinds of things that are going to cause potential tripping. Electrical wires. I mean, goodness knows, fortunately I have all my plugs and wires in one place in my room, but if you're in a bigger house, you might have them in different places, like from the from the bathroom, or not from the bathroom, in the bedroom or somewhere. But make sure that you're that's all stable and not going to fall over. You're not going to trip on them. If you've got a rug that tends to move, maybe put some tape down. You can get that runner tape that you can put under your rugs just to keep them in one place. Entry mats, are usually loose. And if you've got like tile or something that's slippery on your kitchen floor, you can go skating across. So that's another thing to think about, removing trip hazards in general. The next one is kitchen accessibility. So organize your kitchen items in ways that you can reach them. Maybe you've got a pantry with, where you keep all those things that you never, like the 2 tons of rice that you bought because you might need them, or whatever, the things that you got up on the top shelf. Just have a little stool in there. Don't be reaching up and trying to, do gymnastics, reaching things on the top shelves. Keeping things that you use every day, at eye level. I mean, I'm in a way very fortunate because I have such a small space. There's no way that I'm gonna, not be able to have my tea right in front of me and my sugar, well, not sugar, but my, oatmeal and new pasta, whatever. All that, the stuff that I use most frequently for my grandkids or me is, is there right in front of my eyes, especially my tea. I have two shelves for tea. I should keep doing my tea things. But adjustable countertops or easy grip handles for cabinets. There's lots of little cool things now to make your kitchen more stable. And of course, the heating, the oven, the safety with the gas, all those things. Just get them checked regularly and make sure that you're, and by the way, I am not preaching here. I am not preaching because I'm probably the worst person when it comes to this kind of stuff. But it just made me think that with all these women living alone, it's probably a really good idea to be kind of prepared and at least think about it. So we've got kitchen, we've got bathroom, what else? Oh, improve communications overall. Surveillance cameras, motion sensors, emergency alarms. Your general communications and safety is, very important. And if you're living by yourself, now, many women are living in apartments where you might have someone, that looks out for who's coming into the building or whatever. But, you've got to be super careful about just general communication strategies. Keeping your cell phone charged, having things written down so that if you did have to make a decision in an emergency. I've got on my wall a little brochure it's a brochure, it's like a pamphlet that they sent out, and it was like, what was it? Helicopter rescue. And I thought, well, you never know. I mean, I might have a helicopter needing to land on my roof. I don't know. But the point is, you need to know how to call the police, call the fire department, call a neighbor. You need next of someone, if not family, but it could be just a person that you can call if you need help at 2:00 in the morning. And if you don't have that person, then there are some plans that you can take out, or you can have an emergency calling system. And by the way, if you've got I have no affiliation with any companies, but if you've got a company that you use or that you feel secure recommending, leave it in the comment section below, because it's a really important one, and especially since a lot of you live in the States. Proper ventilation is another thing that's really important. And one thing that I wanted to mention generally is in smart technology. There's so many things now with lighting, automatic lighting and heating. I've actually got an air conditioner that my son just installed for me because it's super hot in the summer here, and it's a rare thing in Switzerland to have air conditioning. I don't even know if I'm supposed to have it on my wall, to be honest. But anywho, it has Bluetooth. So when I'm coming home, if I'm a half an hour down the road, I can just use my Bluetooth to switch on my air conditioner, and I come in and the house is cool, or the room is really cool. So that's another thing to think about, is using smart technology. I mean, I know we may not be that savvy, but you know, I mean, and that's a stereotype that I do push back on, because we can get there. We know where to call to get help, and we just have to get over the barrier of asking. So that's it. I think emergency preparedness, I've already talked about. Important to have a safety plan if something should go wrong, if the power goes out, I mean, a lot of you in the States are quite prepared because you get weather challenges, but that's not just a general broad category of being prepared for emergencies, having food, having some extra water, you know, places that you know you can go for safety, and just, you know, look at it more holistically than just your own home safety. It's like, you know, community safety, world safety. So I hope this has been useful. I really appreciate, I don't know where this, I think I just put this together myself by doing some research. So I don't even know if there's an article on 60andMe about it, but it's just a conversation that I wanted to have, because so many of us are here by ourselves, and we just need to make sure we're safe and sound. And I always, and that's another thing to say, when I travel, I always keep in touch with at least one person. And when I get home, I always send a message saying, home safe and sound. And it's just letting someone know what you're doing, where you are. We're independent souls. I know we can do it ourselves. We don't need any help, but it's good to be prepared. Okay, everybody, well, have a really wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Thank you so much for your support and love always. And yeah, we'll see you again soon. Take good care.